Namaste, I'm Kshitij Mohunta and welcome to this session on Patanjali Yoga-Sutras. I did my Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy from Mithibai College of Arts and Commerce, which is in Mumbai, and I'm about to do my Masters of Science in Yoga and Consciousness from S-VYASA Yoga University. So let's get straight into it. So Patanjali Yoga-Sutras comes in the NET exam for about 30 to 40 marks, roughly 20 questions. Most of the questions are very simple, and if you memorize the sutras which we will be going through, it will be very easier to answer those questions. There have been different commentaries on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. If you want a really easy translation, you can read Bihar School of Yoga, called 4 Chapters of Freedom. Some other commentaries on Patanjali Yoga Sutra include Yoga Bhashya by Vedvyasa, Tattva Vaishadari by Vachaspati Mishra, Bhoja Vritti by Bhoja Raja, Yoga Vartika by Vijnana Bhikshu, and as we all know, Raja Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. In total, Patanjali Yoga Sutras consists of 196 sutras, which is divided among 4 padas. The first pada is Samadhi Pada, which has 51 sutras. Patanjali immediately starts the text by saying Atha Yoga Anusasanam. So the use of the word Atha is very interesting here. It means and now. Why this terminology is used by Patanjali? So what he means to say is that any sadhaka on this path on yoga, who is getting deeper into his practices, should have these 4 necessary qualifications in order to advance further in his study on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So the 4 qualities or sadhana chatushtayam are Viveka, which is discrimination, which is basically knowing the difference between the real and the unreal, or the eternal and the uneternal. Next is Vairagya, which is dispassion or detachment from the pleasures of the world, Then Shat Sampatti, which are 6 qualities, which are Shama, which is control of mind, Dhamma, control of the senses, Uparati, which is sense of satiety or contentment within yourselves, Titiksha, which is endurance of hot and cold or the pair of opposites, like being the same with success or failure, good and bad, etc. Samadhanam is concentration or ekagrata, one-pointedness essentially, and Shraddha, which is very important, which is faith in the Guru and the scriptures. The last quality which is very important is mumukshutva or moksha ichha. A mumukshu is a person who has an intense desire for liberation. So after these 4 qualities, a sadhaka can further pursue his sadhana on yoga. So we are studying Patanjali from a mere academical and an intellectual point of view, so this is not necessary for us. Now the second sutra, Patanjali directly gives us a definition on yoga, which is what? Yoga is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So what is yoga? Chitta. Now what is the classification of Chitta? Chitta is Manas, that is the mind, Buddhi, that is the intellect, and Ahankar, which is the ego. Vedanta adds one more thing to the Chitta, called Chitta or past impressions or past memories. Yoga only accepts these 3, Mana, Buddhi and Ahankar. Vedanta will accept Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar and Chitta. Now what are Vrittis? Vrittis. So before we got into Vrittis, we will understand this statement. Yoga is the cessation. Nirodha is a cessation or stoppage of the fluctuations of the mind. This is what this statement means. So Patanjali says that if these fluctuations stop, that is if yoga dawns, if yoga chitta vritti nirodha happens, what will happen? In the 3rd sutra he says, Tada drushtu swarupe avasthanam. You get established in that ever-present consciousness. Basically, in a way, you attain samadhi. Now what happens if that does not happen? That is, if this does not happen, if yoga does not culminate, what will happen? Vrittis will take place, or fluctuations of mind. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. In the 4th sutra he will say, Vrittis or the fluctuations will start to happen. And what are these fluctuations? So again, sutras 1 to 10 are very important to memorize because they can ask direct questions from this. So what is Vrittis? In the 5th sutra he will say, Pramana Viparyaya Vikalpanidra Smriti. What is Pramana? Pratyaksha Anumana Agama Pramanani. In the 6th sutra he is saying, what is Pramana? Perception. Pramana is perception. So what are the types of perception? Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means what? Sense evidence. You see something and you believe it to be true. Purely. Anumana is inference. So you see smoke on the hill. What will you infer? There is fire on the hill. Why? Because your previous experience says that wherever there is smoke, there is fire. That is inference. Agama. Agama is also known as Shabda. Basically, it is scriptural testimony or words of a reliable person. You just need to know the terminology. You don't need to go deeper into it. Now, Viparyaya. Viparyaya is misconception. Patanjali calls Mithya Jnana. So something that is essentially true, but we have misinterpreted it. Like we, in a dark room, we mistake a rope for a snake. That is misconception. This actually exists, but we have misinterpreted it. Now what is vikalpa? Patanjali says, Sabda Jnana Anupati Vastu Shunya Vikalpa. There is no Shabda, there is no Jnana. Even there is no Vastu. It is absolute fancy or imagination. In this, it does not actually exist. We completely imagine it. Like for example, we have two ideas of a spider and a man and we combine them. They become Spider-Man. They don't actually exist, but in our mind we imagine it to exist. Now Nidra. What is Nidra? Abhava Pratyaya. Abhava means absence. Pratyaya means content of mind. If there is no content of mind, or if the content of mind is absent, that is Nidra. And we experience that every day during our sleep in the night time. Now lastly, Smriti. Smriti is nothing but memory. You just need to know the terminology and what essentially they mean. They don't go deeper into it. And lastly, the 5 states of mind or Chitta Bhumis. Again, this is mentioned in Yoga Bhashya by Ved-vyasa. Yeah. So 5 states of mind or Chitta Bhumis are: first, Shipta. Shipta is basically a very distracted state, which is also known as the monkey mind, and the guna which is dominant is Rajas. You need to know the name of the Chitta Bhumi and which guna is dominant in that. That is very important, so I'll be going accordingly. Next is Muda. Muda is basically a donkey mind and Tamas is dominant. Third is Vikshipta. This is a state where it's a butterfly mind, where there is no Sattva, but Rajas and Tamas are also present. So a lot of times during the day we become extremely productive, right? We become extremely productive and we start doing things, productive things. But at the same time, during other parts of the day, we will move into these 2 states. So essentially, states 1, 2, 3 are where the human normal consciousness, mundane consciousness revolves around. The 4th and the 5th are the higher states of consciousness and are not easily accessible to the normal human beings. The 4th state is Ekagrata, or this absolute Sattva. Rajas and Tamas are absolutely not even active. It is a one-pointedness. This corresponds to Sampragnat Samadhi. And Ved-vyasa in his Yoga Bhashya says that by achieving one-pointedness, you completely destroy your kleshas and go beyond the cycle of karma. Lastly, the Niruddha Avastha is the Gunatita Avastha, basically beyond the 3 gunas. Here the play of the gunas cease to exist and it's a fully focused mind. So after this, Patanjali will go straight into how we can overcome these Chitta Vrittis by Abhyasa and Vairagya, which I'll be covering in my next video. So I am not going into depth into any of these videos. I'll be just covering which are the most important parts and which are most important mainly for a NET yoga exam. So thank you so much.